guys, today we are going to be talking about makeup packaging, especially packaging that is just very special, very unique, very either really cutesy, just very well done, just something that you look at and you go, wow, that is so pretty, or that is just so something, you know? It has to be something extra. And I feel like all of the products that I'm going to be showing you today have that little extra something to them. Before we get into it, I did film this look. This is going to be my first members only tutorial, or it's not really a tutorial. This was actually a palette bingo. So if you want to see that, you can join my membership and become part of my butterfly family. You will get a little butterfly next to your name that will change color depending on how long you've been a member on my channel for. You will also get content like this look that I did right here, and I plan on doing that every month moving forward. So if you want to see that, there's a join button down below this video. It will be, at least if you're on a computer. I'm not 100% sure about a phone. I will try to leave a link down in my description box if you for some reason can't find the join button. So I will see what I can do about that, but I did want to just mention it. So let's go ahead and talk about all of these products. So a lot of them are like full brands, but some are also just individual products from brands. And I only want to talk about products that I actually have in my collection myself. Of course, I could go out and like talk about all the luxury products that are like, you know, just extravagant and stuff like that, but I just want to show you the stuff that I have in my collection that I wouldn't say I bought it because of the packaging, but the packaging is definitely a reason why I'm keeping some of these items. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the two first things that I'm looking at here are two highlighters from Bitter Lace Beauty. Now, I didn't buy these, they did send me these in PR, but can we just take a look at this packaging? So these are liquid highlighters in a skull. Aren't these just so cool? Have you seen anything like it? And then you kind of just, you shake it up and then there's a dropper inside that you screw it off and then you can, you know, just drop this on your face or wherever it is that you want it. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of liquid highlighters. This is more of a body highlighter type thing for me, so I don't use them much, but there is no way I'm ever going to declutter these just because of how beautiful they are and just what a unique concept. Like, they're also made of glass, so they're super heavy and they just feel really luxurious and really special to me. And I'm so happy I have these in my collection. Even if I never use them, I'm just really happy to own them. Another product that I'm really happy that I own that I don't use much, this is another highlighter. What is it about highlighters and extravagant packaging? I guess it kind of makes sense because highlighters is supposed to be like a, I don't know, something that makes you sparkle, you know, so they want to have like sparkly packaging or just cute packaging. This is the Smashbox and the Hoodwitch highlighter. I always say Lotta, I don't know why, but that's the rose one. I don't own this one. But I basically bought this because of the packaging, because of the crystals, and I just thought that it was so pretty, and I also really like the color inside of this highlighter. I have to admit though, I don't really find the formula on this to be amazing. This is one of those kind of peachy highlighters, but it's just a little bit dry and just a little bit chalky, and it's really not like all that on the face. I have highlighters that I like more in the same color, so not blown away by the formula on this, and I even considered decluttering it in my highlighting declutter, but I just couldn't part with the packaging. So I'm just gonna keep this forever. Maybe I can find a way to, I probably won't be able to depot this, huh? But maybe if I don't want to like keep the actual highlighter, I can just kind of scrape it off and like empty it out and then put a magnetic pan on the inside or something and put something else in here, because there's no way that I'm ever going to let go of this packaging because it's so beautiful. So I guess I will do all the individual pieces that I have first from brands that aren't like a full line of stuff. So I do want to mention a lipstick here, and this one is from Hourglass. I'm sure you all probably seen these, but if you haven't felt these in store and like actually seen them, you won't know just like how heavy and luxurious this feels and just how it feels special in your hand. Like, this feels like something that you paid a lot of money for, and it did cost a lot of money, so it makes sense. But I also just really like the concept of this. I like the fact that this is like a refillable thing, and you can pull this out of the container and you can buy new refills to put inside of this. I think that kind of makes the packaging, or it makes the product kind of worth the money if you ask me. I really like this. I only have one and I don't plan on picking up any more of these until I'm out of the lipstick on the inside and I'm going to buy a refill. But I'm mostly keeping this for the packaging. The packaging is amazing. I love having this in my purse. It makes me feel safe because I could stab someone with this if I had to. And it's always nice to have a little weapon in your purse, you know? Like, I appreciate the thought that went into this a lot, and I find it to be very unique and different. And I also love the small applicator because my small lips need something very precise to be able to get a good lip line, so I love these lipsticks from Hourglass. I do have one foundation that I want to mention as well. This is the only foundation that is going to be in this pile, and for the most part I find that foundations usually just have very practical packaging. They don't really have anything super special about it, but the one that I want to mention is from Pretty Vulgar. Like, oh, this is just so beautiful. I honestly bought this because I saw Tati use it and I saw her show a close-up, and I saw a little bird on top and I was like, you know what, I need that. It's also a very, very heavy glass bottle. Again, it feels really expensive, and also the product itself is really, really, really nice. I really like this foundation. It is a very full coverage foundation though, which is why I haven't really been using it a lot lately, because I've been using more kind of medium coverage foundations in the last, I want to say, maybe a year or so, maybe more like half a year, but I've been really getting into like the medium coverage one. So this is kind of like, I don't know, been put aside, which is kind of sad because it's so beautiful, but there's also no way that I'm ever going to get rid of this. I wonder if I could, see, I could actually open this and like put something else inside of it if I wanted to. I could just clean it out and like put another foundation in it if I really wanted to, you know, use it, but I'm okay with just having it for now because I just think it's so pretty. Like I wish more brands would put a little bit more thought into their kind of like base products, because this is something so unique to my collection that I haven't seen anyone else do before. I want to talk about a specific product from Makeup a Murder. You guys have probably seen these on Instagram, but I want to talk about their pigments. This is how they come. They come in these kind of like poison glasses or poison jars. Like, isn't this just, this is so cute. I will say, the packaging is extremely impractical and it's very, very messy, and it's really hard to like get stuff out of them without, you know, it going everywhere and stuff like that. But the idea of this, I think, is really, really cool. I love that they did something different with these. I think now you either have the option to get them in like a jar container or get them like this if you want to, or maybe they're moving over to just using jars, but I'm still really happy that I have these in this container because I just think that, whoa, I literally just dropped it. It's fine. But I'm just happy to have these, and I think that if you're someone who likes to display your makeup, these would make for such a cool display piece, because if you get the whole range of them and you buy like the bundle, you can just line them all up like next to each other and have a full rainbow full of just like neon pigments and pastel pigments. Like, it's such a cool idea. Another brand that I kind of got into recently that I haven't used much from, this is the Juno & Co. Juno & Co. have sent me 2 of their face palettes, and the packaging on this, given the price especially, I will have the price on the screen, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's very, very affordable. But the packaging is just, it's so luxurious and just so well made, and I love the kind of designs on them. I love that they're not super, super flashy, but they're also just, I don't know, I just really enjoy the packaging of them, and I think that they are kind of classy, but still being cute and pretty, you know? And also the product inside is really, really nice. Like I said, these are face palettes. They have a large mirror in them. The pants have like nice designs in them. This one came with a little butterfly on the actual blush here, which wasn't oversprayed. It kind of went away, but it's the small details, you know, it's the small details that really make you go, wow, when you see a product. At least it is for me, and I really appreciate when brands just go that little extra mile to like impress, you know? Even if it's a more affordable brand, it still makes a big difference. Now, I can't make this video without talking about Kaleidos, because Kaleidos has some of the best packaging on the market right now. It is a little bit bulky, but you know what? I don't care. Kaleidos is one of those brands that I feel like it's justified to have bulky packaging. So let's talk about the palettes first. Obviously, these aren't all of them, but these are some of the first ones they came out with. I just love the idea of, you know, having something that kind of opens up like this. No other brands have palettes like this. I think that they just did such a good job with like the execution of them. They feel really nice. They have a nice magnetic closure to them. They have a beautiful design. Everything about them is just very well thought out. The only thing I don't like about these palettes is that they come with a slip, and you can't really figure out like which way it goes and like what the shade names are, because there's no shade names in here. But the packaging itself, A+. I mean, I couldn't have thought of that, you know? Like, I could never have come up with something like this, and that is why I really, really appreciate it, because it means that it's original, it means that it's not something anyone else has done before, and you've never seen any brand come out with anything like that. Same with their highlighters. I mean, have you ever seen a highlighter come in a tin box? Like, I know I haven't. And like I said, I know they're bulky, but I don't care because it's justified. It's like so themed. It's so, like I said, well thought out, well executed. The products are amazing. There's just nothing I don't like about Kaleidos. I just think that they do fantastic. Whatever they come out with, they always nail it. I also do have to mention this brand. No one's going to be surprised, I'm sure. I was sent all of these products, and this is Anna Sui. Anna Sui's packaging is some of the cutest packaging, I would say, in the makeup industry. I could be wrong, but that is just my opinion. But let's see, I don't even know where to begin. So let's start with the lipsticks. So I have two different kinds of lipsticks here. This is a all black packaging, and these are the, I don't know when these came out. I want to say spring of last year. But just look at that packaging. It's just so well made. It has a little like butterfly on top here with the flowers. I love the contrast of the flowers against the black. And then you probably won't be able to tell, but it had a flower imprint on the top, but I've actually used this so much that I've kind of used up the imprint. And then you can see the Anna Sui on the packaging, the bottom of the packaging. It's just beautiful. It's just such a good quality product as well, and I love using all of her stuff. I have so many things from her. I also have some little eyeshadows here. This is a little duo. They all have like the heart on the front. I just love it, you know? Here I have a face powder. This I like to use to kind of like help blend if I need to blend my eyeshadows, because I don't have a lot of like nude colored eyeshadows, so this is great for that. Here's another one of the eyeshadow palettes. This is a trio. It's just, look at it. Look at it. You can't look at this and be like, I don't want that. And if you do, you're probably on the wrong channel, because if you can't love Anna Sui packaging and appreciate Anna Sui packaging, I don't know if we can be friends, honestly. Even their mascaras, like, look at this. Look at it. Look at the little heart on top. I can't. It's killing me with cuteness. And I also love that they sell the compacts individually. So this is one of the compacts for the blushes that they came out with. So you have the blush that's supposed to go in here, so you can decide if you want to buy both the compact and the blush, or just the blush, and you can like store the blush in a magnetic palette. But since I have two of the blushes and only one of the magnetic, or one of the compacts, I decided to just put both of my blushes like together in a palette instead. Here is one of the brightening powders. I just, look at that packaging. Look at it. Look at it. It's so pretty. I mean, really, what's not to love about it? So I also have a couple more brands here. So one brand that I have to mention them, even though the packaging itself isn't like anything out of the ordinary, like it's just cardboard packaging, but I do have to just mention Udensai still, because I just feel like their branding is just so on point. Like everything they do, it all goes together. Like, you know right away when you see it what brand this is, despite it just being, you know, a square packaging with really nothing on it except for just a little bit of text and some gold. I think anyone who has been into like the indie market lately and have seen these palettes, they would know right away if someone pulled this out that this was an Udensai product. Same with their blushes as well, super cute. Love the little accent details here. Even the back of them is just really well made. I love that they have little, you know, text on the back, and they also have the same kind of stuff that they have on the front of the palettes. Here is one of the older palettes. This is the Solmona palette. I don't know if I should be showing you all of these, like the insides of them, but I've made so many videos with the Udensai. I can have my Udensai playlist on the screen if you want to go check out more about this brand, because I've talked about them so much. Here's one of the mini palettes. Again, same kind of packaging. Beautiful, beautiful outside. I love the kind of metallic details they have, and then the inside of the packaging. It's just, look at it. Like, no other brands have done something like this, at least that I know of. And I appreciate the originality. I think that's where I'm kind of going at with this brand, because I just think that they know what they're doing and they're kind of sticking to it, and they're doing it very well. I also want to talk about a couple of eyeshadow palettes. I don't have a ton here, but I do want to just give a quick little shout out to the Melt palettes. Is this upside down? I think this is upside down. Let's do this. So this is the Amor Eterno collection that came out last year. These are the skull palettes. I'm sure you have all seen these. I love that they make a skull together. I love that there's kind of like the raised packaging in certain spots. Like the roses here are kind of raised, and there's texture on them. Like you can feel the bumps when you kind of pull your hands over it. And then you have like the matte on the inside here. You pull them apart, and then you have the palettes, and the palette is obviously beautiful as well. I mean, there's nothing I don't like about these palettes. I think that this was such a well-executed collection as well. I've had such a good time playing with these, and I'm so happy I bought them. I almost didn't buy the Vita palette, but after trying the Muerte, I had to, because I was so blown away, and I just wanted to complete my skull, and I think that was a very smart move on their part to make it like they did, because it makes people want to get both so they can complete it, you know? And I also do have to mention Menagerie Cosmetics, because they just make the most beautiful packaging. I'm not going to show you all of the palettes now, but my favorite palette from Menagerie is definitely the Feral palette. I love the artwork on this one. This was probably the palette that really made me fall in love with the brand. Not that I wasn't already when they were Makeup Monsters, but as soon as they rebranded and they came out with this, like, I was sold, because what I love about these as well is just how heavy they are. They feel so nice and sturdy, like they feel expensive. It's almost like they put in a little bit of like metal on the bottom of the packaging to make it heavier than it actually is. It could just be because the pans are magnetic, but I think even if you took out the pans, I think this palette would still be really, really heavy. I haven't actually tried to like depot any of the palettes, but I love the weight on them. It just makes them feel, like they're worth the money. And speaking of big and bulky and heavy packaging, Pat McGrath. I don't think anybody would make a video like this and not mention Pat McGrath. I mean, her palettes are just so well made. This is like carrying a brick of gold. And it's probably the same price as gold as well. I mean, to be fair, this is like $130, but I will say that it does feel like a luxury experience, even just holding this in my hands. Like, I'm sure if I were to hand this to someone and be like, hey, how much do you think this costs? They're going to end up, you know, aiming high. And I guess that's kind of what Pat McGrath wants with her brand too. Like, she wants her brand to be known as something that is very expensive, and she wants it to be kind of out of reach for people who maybe can't afford it. I don't know, like with a brand like this, you're not just paying for the shadows. You know, the shadows are fine. These, and especially in this palette, I don't feel like are anything spectacular that I don't already have in my collection. I'm going to do a dupe video with this because I've already kind of picked up my dupes, and I pretty much duped this spot on, if I can say so myself. So I don't think the shadows are necessarily worth the money, but if you want bougie ass packaging, you got it. I also have two magnetic palettes that I would like to mention. The first one here is from Clionadh. This is their stained glass palette. This is a magnetic palette that basically has all of my Clionadh shadows in it, and I love the size of it. I love how big it is. I love the outside of it. I love that they made it into a stained glass to go along with the collection. I love that it's the same on the back and the front. Again, it's hard to find like a magnetic palette of this size, so I really, really, really like this palette, and I wish that they would like actually keep them in stock. I think they just restocked, but I could be wrong. But I am very interested in picking up another one of these because I just think that they are so beautiful. And another magnetic palette that I do want to mention is this one from Adept. This is their kind of crocodile palette. Is that what it's called? Alligator skin? I don't know, but this is like, I think this is made out of leather. I could be wrong. I think they're a cruelty-free brand though, so it's probably not like real leather, but it definitely feels like leather. It is so nice and well made, and it feels really, really just good in your hands. It's very sturdy. These are quite expensive. They are like $30, I want to say. This is what the inside looks like. No mirror, but you have Adept Cosmetics on the front here, and then all of the shadows that you can put inside. It's a very, very large palette. It's, like I said, very sturdy, has a good magnet to it without being too strong. I love these palettes. I have, I think, 3 of them now. And this is the kind of palette that I could see myself just like buying more of if I need new palettes, because I love the way that they look in my collection. I love how they can store so many shadows. The magnet inside of this is really nice and strong as well, so you're not going to have like accidents with your singles kind of, you know, floating around in there and like breaking up and stuff like that. So those were all of the things that in my collection were kind of standouts when I went through to pick out the things, because Obviously, like, I have pretty things in my collection, but then there are just those items that kind of scream, look at me, like I am special. And I feel like all of these items kind of say that. So I would love to hear what your most special, or I don't know, the packaging in your collection that you love the most, or that you feel like is the most extravagant or spectacular, or do you have any of those bougie lipsticks that come in like the bow with all the crystals on it? I forget the name of that brand, but they're like $300 lipsticks. It's just absolutely insane. Would I want to have one just to have one in my collection? Of course, but I'm not gonna go out and buy one because that is absurd. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you want to see this look, it is a member only, so if you want to sign up, I would really appreciate it. It would help me out a lot, and it would give you some content as well. Thank you for watching. As always, if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one.